Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Have you ever spent a night under the roof with savages? I guess most of you not, but I have, and I'd like to share my experience with you. It was 1976 when my father and I went to visit Iban headhunters in the dark interior of Borneo. We travelled from Singapore, took a ship, took boats, took a light aircraft, took a canoe, and eventually we arrived at our destination, which was an Iban longhouse standing proudly 8 meters above the riverbank in the centre of Borneo. Around the longhouse, the jungle had been cleared. The front side of the longhouse was all open area where the community lived. So the tribe of Ibans had this common area which was 30 meters long where they would go about their daily chores. The rear of the longhouse was separated into family units where the families would sleep and have their prayers. Below the longhouse there was a caged area where there were a few pigs and a few chickens running around, which basically was part of the food source for this tribe of Iban Indians. The emotions I had when I was climbing up the bamboo ladder to the ruai, which was the common area, was quite incredible. I was met by topless women, tattooed, ears pierced, which hung low, men dressed half naked, roaming around, and they welcomed us up into their house, and they set us down cross-legged on the floor, and they all gathered around us. Very friendly environment. The women were caressing my hair. I was 10 years old, pinching my cheeks, and basically talking at a very, very high volume, as women normally do. But this seemed to be a particularly exciting day for these people. Eventually, a young man came forward and he spoke some pidgin English. So he introduced us to the chief's wife. And that evening, the chief's wife invited us into her quarters. She moved out and she said that her husband, the chief, was away on a hunting trip for a few days. So we were welcome to take her abode. And strangely enough, we walked into it and there was a 4-posted Victorian bed. So we slept extremely well during that visit. Very, very strange. The next 4 days we lived like Ibans, we ate with the Ibans, we collected fruit, we went fishing. Fantastic experience. The women collectively looked after the children and the elders, singing, chatting happily, and there seemed to be no loneliness. No one was lonely. The men took the boys out hunting, fishing, again then. They were happily in company, carrying out their daily chores. The food which was caught exactly in the right quantity to sustain the tribe. They never took too much fruit, they never fished too much, they never took too many animals from the jungle. It was exactly the right quantity to sustain their requirements. And all of the animal was used, all of the fruits were used, everything was consumed. I would say that there was total sustainability of the local ecosystem. No goods were purchased with wrapping, requiring disposal. Maybe the fire to cook their dinner gave a little bit of carbon dioxide, but then the vast jungle around the camp absorbed this carbon dioxide and reconverted it back into oxygen. Have to remember, this is 1976. This is the period of the new economic model of consumerism. Buy, consume, and make the economy grow. after this fascinating visit, we returned to Singapore, back to our McDonald's meals, back to our polystyrene packaging, back to our plastic bags from the supermarkets, back to our powerful cars driving here and there. But we were convinced still at that time that we were civilized and that this group of Ibans living in the jungle, no running water, no sanitary services, they really were the savages and we were really the civilized people. A month ago my father came to visit me in Valencia, and he brought with me the log I had written 36 years before. And we went over the experience, and we obviously concluded that it was a fantastic experience for us both. But what was more curious is how our concept of civilization has changed in these 36 years. I'm convinced today that the developed, highly civilized world we live in could have a great benefit with a little bit of Iban savage culture. Thank you very much.